Okay, so I've just had breakfast. I haven't got my microphone on, so I hope this is quite clear. I'm about to get on my bike and head off to my paragliding. It's tandem paragliding. So I haven't done this before and about to find out what it's like. Okay, just going down to meet Alan. I keep running back to my room to have a nervous whittle. I'm not really nervous, I don't know why I'm doing that, but anyway, we're off. We're off paragliding. Tandem paragliding. You're my driver. How are you?
Fine.
Good. Fine.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. Look at this. Okay, this is starting to get real. It's pretty high up here. Right down.
Sitting down. Underground. Ayo. Okay. Okay. Alright. Let's go. Ayo. 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 Thank you. Ayo. Thank you. Let's go. So that was really cool, Alan. So that was my tandem paragliding. It was really cool. We got there at about 9:30 in the morning and then discovered they don't open till 10, so that was no big deal. We just sat around and waited. The transfer return by my driver on a bike was $15. The paragliding was $60, 600,000, and you could have, if you wanted to, I mean, I had my GoPro so it didn't matter, but you could pay an extra 200,000 or 20 bucks and they would video it for you and then give you a video afterwards if you didn't have a camera or didn't have a GoPro or whatever. So it was really cool. So I haven't done paragliding before and I really enjoyed it. So we took off from the cliff up above and we landed down on the beach below, and it was a very, very easy takeoff. In fact, it happened before I knew where we were, and the beach landing was very, very easy as well. So I'm just getting ready to go and meet my driver and head off to two very old villages that you can visit here. One is called Sade and the other one is called Endi. And the Sade village has become a little bit touristy. I wasn't going to bother, but I think I'll take you there so that you can have a look at it. But the other one, Endi, is a little bit more not quite so touristy. It's a little bit further on. So they're about 15 to 20 minutes out of Kuta, and my return transfers on a bike are around $15 again, same driver, Alan. So I'm just going to go down and meet him, and we're off to the villages. So I've just realised I haven't been pronouncing those two villages properly. So reception is going to tell me how to say them.
Yeah, Sade and Under.
Sade,
Sade and
Sade, Sarden and Inden.
Yeah, Under.
Anden. Okay, thank you so much. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
My name is Sam,
Sam.
right? So in the village, I would be your local guide.
Okay, thank you.
What is your name?
Wayan.
Ryan. Where are you from?
Wayan.
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 Oh, Wayan. Balinese name. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, Wayan.
So these are the houses that they live in.
It's the kitchen of the house because like I told you, inside just for sleeping room.
So it's a video, so you can smile and you can nod. And how old are you?
Yeah, it is around 60.
60. Combing?
Yeah. It has the lights.
Ah, it has lights. They're resealing the mud floor.
Right, with the cow dung and the water. The floor is made of clay and cow dung. And the floor cannot stay forever, so that's why usually every 2 weeks, at least one time in a month, we have to polish again with the cow dung and mix with the water. Okay, so actually here we will see how the local women do weaving. And all the women who live in the village can do weaving. And especially on dry season. Because when the dry season, we don't have many activity on the field. Because we have the rice plantation only in rainy season. So when the rainy season, both of us, men and women, work on the field.
You look very pretty today. Okay, this is my new best friend. My new best friend. You okay?
Yep.
Alan, did you get a drink? Do you want one? Oh, can I just get you to do my helmet up? The village.
So the name of this village, Sade.
Sade.
Yeah, it's the name of
Okay.
this village.
Okay.
Yeah, so in this village, yeah, so is it not like a museum? Yeah, but so people still and living here. Yeah, and then here we have like 150 houses. Yeah, and also like 700 people still living here. Yeah, so like people here, the man here is working the rice field.
So what's she doing?
Still make like Lombok.
coffee.
Yeah.
The coffee. So these are made here?
Yeah, we made from the trees also have the dry ones here, and then that's one also the trees of love. It's love trees. Yeah. See all the houses also. Yeah. So you can go up, please.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like tower.
Holy shit, I'm gonna kill myself here. These stairs are almost vertical. Come on, don't be shy. Oh, is that an avocado tree?
Mango.
Mango.
Yeah. So now it's like the mango season is like October. Yeah, it's like this. For example, now it's still like we have many fruit of the mangoes here. Yeah, now it's October. It's like
So October to when?
yeah,
When?
when yeah. So like
when? October to what? February?
February, yeah, to like mango season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Non, non, c'est noir ça. Ça c'est noir, ça c'est.
Okay, so we're doing that again. This is my other best friend because I don't think he realised it was a video. Okay, you can move. Move your hands. Thank you.
You can make video photo, yeah. So that one is like 1 week and then finish the weaving.
Okay, so one thing I didn't realise was that the Sussex people are Muslim. Okay, so I can't really say that I enjoyed that very much. I thought it was really touristy. And every time you took a photo, someone put their hand out. And every time you looked at someone doing something like weaving or selling coffee or whatever, there was this expectation that you would buy it. So, look, I know it's a tourist trap, I knew that. I thought it would be a little bit more, what's the word, traditional and a bit more raw than it actually is. But it was still cool. I'm glad I came. Take that one off. Thank you, Alan. It was really nice to meet you. And thank you for looking after me.
Please tell in Facebook, yeah? I'm a bad man.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan.
Okay.
Okay, so I just want to do a sum up here because this is my last day in Kuta on Lombok, and then I'm about to head north about 2 hours to Seketong Beach because I'm going to visit the secret gillies. So first of all, the beaches here are really, really stunning. I mean, I only went to two. I went to Marwan and Maui, and they're really, really beautiful, and they were actually very quiet for this time of the year. I think maybe the main tourist season's over, so I was actually quite lucky. And there are lots of cute little warongs along the way there where you can sit down and have a meal, or you can just sit and have a coconut like I did, and it was really cool. The other thing I did was the paragliding, and that was really amazing. It's something I've always wanted to do, and today was the day that I did that, jumped off a cliff with someone else. It's quite funny. I wasn't really nervous or scared or anything about that. I would have been shitting myself if it was jumping out of a plane. and parachuting, but paragliding didn't bother me at all. It was really quite amazing, and it was like being a bird up in the sky. There was no sound, just the visuals, and it was quite spectacular. So that was only about 15 minutes, and it cost me $60 to do that, but it was well worth it. The two villages that I went to today, I didn't overly enjoy them. I thought they were really touristy, particularly Sade, the last one. And I sort of felt like you can't go in and walk around yourself. You have to go in and have a guide, and he takes you around and shows you everything. And that's actually quite good because he explains what's going on, and a lot of the things I would not have known if I hadn't had a guide. So that was quite cool, but I did feel like the tourist, and I felt like I was continually being expected to hand over some money, buy something like coffee or some of the fabric that they had there. So, you know, I'm not really a great tourist, so that didn't really blow my skirt up, that one, but it was still quite cool to go to. Lombok's a funny little, well, Kuta should I say. Kuta's a funny little town in Lombok. It's described as Bali 50 years ago. It's I found it a bit strange. I found it a contrast of sort of really wealthy people and incredibly poor people. And I know that you find that all over, but it was really quite evident here. And when they're poor, they are really poor. And when you wander around Kuta, the main town, again, you notice that there are people that are, you can tell, are really scrimping. And there are others that are probably doing quite well. The one thing that I would have to say about Kuta and Lombok in general is that I've found the plastic pollution absolutely appalling, particularly around Kuta. I didn't find it so much when I was in Titi Batu. I found that really pretty, and I didn't notice the pollution, the plastic pollution there so much, but Kuta Lombok, I just think is disgraceful, and there is plastic everywhere. It's on the beach, it's in the water, and I know a lot of it comes from somewhere else, but there's a shitload of plastic around town, and even when you go out into the outer areas on my way to paragliding, there's a shitload of plastic out there. And the people here don't seem to really care about it. It seems to be part of their life, and they just throw things, and I don't think there's any way that they can come and have it collected. So I think that side of it's made me really sad. I'm not really one of these wankers that gets, you know, on my high horse about pollution and plastic and all that sort of thing, but I did notice it, and as I say, it has made me feel really sad about Lombok, particularly the Kuta area. So tomorrow I'm heading north, so I'll be leaving here about 11, so that's the sum up of my Kuta period here. And tomorrow I'm on my way to Seketong, and we're going to go discover the secret gillies that everyone knows about, but they're still secret. They're called the secret gillies. So we'll catch you there.